Hi, my name is Stefan, and today I want to share with you my experience about visiting Bhutan as a country. Bhutan is a wonderful country where not many tourists go because it is so expensive. I think it is probably the most expensive country in the world to visit. It is not an expensive country itself, but because of the royalty fee, which is 250 US dollar a day or a night in the high season, or $200 in the low season, it's even more expensive than, for example, Switzerland, which is the most expensive country in the world, because in Switzerland you can still stay in a hostel and you can cook and eat from the supermarket, but in Bhutan you can't, because you have to follow a tour. I think there are only a few countries in the world where you have to follow a tour, which includes Bhutan. I think Tibet is a part of China, because most parts of China you can travel itself, and North Korea. So, it's more expensive to visit Bhutan than North Korea, that's a fact. And also more expensive than visiting Switzerland, so Bhutan is probably the most expensive country. But you can do some things to lower the costs. I'm a budget traveler, so I try to pay at least the amount as possible. Unfortunately, I didn't have time to go in low season, so I had to go in high season, but the weather was a bit better, a bit warmer. It's still cold since it's in the Himalayas, and I couldn't do anything but have to pay $250. Another thing is that the flights to Bhutan are super expensive, since there's only the Royal Bhutan Air and Druk Airways which go into this country. And the airfares, they are $200 up per each way. So, to avoid this, you can come from the Indian border. So, that's what I did. So, I booked a tour with my wonderful guide, Casey. I found her over couch surfing, because on couch surfing I tried to contact some locals and ask for information how can we visit the country in a cheaper way. Actually, Indians can visit the country much cheaper. They don't have to pay this royalty fee, but they still have to join a tour. What I've heard from my guide. Anyway, since you're not from the SARC countries, which includes Sri Lanka, Bangladesh, India or Pakistan, then you probably have to pay the royalty fee. And the cheapest way to visit Bhutan is by going over the Indian border, is what I did, and then your guide gonna pick you up at the border. You're gonna drive. I had to pay $30 only to get this extra way, which is about 4.5 hours away from Thimphu, the capital. So I arrived from India very early morning. The border only opens at 9 a.m. And then we had breakfast in the town. I forgot the name, but from there we went to Thimphu. It's also a very interesting ride. You can see like the villages. You're gonna make a stop at some shrines and some nice views. You can stop anyway. Basically, you can tell your driver anything what to do. Yeah, so you are the boss. Yeah, so it's much more flexible, for example, than traveling in North Korea, where you have much more restrictions. So after you get your guide and you go to Thimphu, you're gonna see some sights in Thimphu, and you're gonna have some food. It's all nice. The best thing about Bhutan, I think, in my opinion, is the nature and the monasteries. Yeah, so there are lots of monasteries with monks. It's very clean. It's very different from Nepal, actually. Because in the beginning I thought it's similar to Nepal, but it's not. It is very different. It's a very unique country, very unique culture. So I definitely recommend visiting Bhutan. People are extremely friendly, and the food is also delicious. I really enjoyed the local Nepalese food, which is a lot of rice and other dishes. I actually don't remember what I ate. Because it was not always Nepalese food. They had like soup, they had some lots of spicy food, and lots of bit like Indian style. Gosh, I forgot actually a lot about my trip, even though it's just a week ago. So you basically free. You can tell your guide a lot. You're very flexible. So I recommend you tell your guide in advance what you want to do, what you want to see. KC was one of the best guides I've ever had. You can also tell actually KC in advance because she's trying to start her own company or any other company. This is just an option. In addition, you still have to pay $60 for the visa fee. So all in all, for 4 days, 3 nights, I paid $860. It was not cheap, but it's hard to say if it's worth it, but it was still a very nice trip. I really enjoyed it. Very interesting is also the local culture. For example, in the evening, people go to karaoke bars, which are not where you can sing yourself, but you can also pay those karaoke girls a certain amount of money to sing a song for you, which is kind of weird, I would say. So yeah, lots of men drinking there, paying the karaoke girls to sing, and dance as well. So that was very interesting, as well as the monasteries. The Tiger's Nest is probably the most famous monastery in Nepal, in Bhutan, and probably one of the most famous monasteries in the world. But it's a very exhausting hike to go up there. It takes about 2 hours. I was really tired by going up there, and I think all people have even more problems. But you can take a horse or a donkey half the way. But I would not do this. If you're fit, you can make it. If you're not, you can take the donkey. Yeah, the trip was way too short. I would love to spend much more time, go trekking or see more of the nature. But it was still really nice. You've seen the local markets. People in Bhutan also love to play darts. They love to play this how to say, bow, this shooting, and they love to play darts. But darts, not like you would know from TV. They play like long distance dart. So it's a very different game actually. They just call it darts, but it's a very unique game. So it was also interesting to see. Yeah, that's about it. And you can, in the evening, you can walk around Thimphu or Paro by yourself. They won't restrict you like in North Korea or in Tibet. I don't know about Tibet. I've never been to Tibet yet. So, but in North Korea you have no freedom. You will not be able to walk by yourself. You will be accompanied by a guide all the time, unless you stay in a hotel, and you cannot leave the hotel. So it's very strict in North Korea, but it's not so strict in Bhutan. Yeah, that's about it. We highly recommend the country to visit. Yeah, go and enjoy a trip to Bhutan if you can afford it.